Off Limits is the money podcast that blows up stereotypes, showing you that managing money doesn't have to be hard.
We want you to thrive, not only with your money, but in every part of your life.
What you will get out of this podcast is real, relatable, and relevant tips and strategies that you can apply today. Hi, I'm Donald Raymond, and this is
Christine Spiak. We are money coaches, business owners, and colleagues who are passionate about helping you become more of who you are. So if you're ready, join us.
Well, here we are, Christine. Another episode. I guess we made it. We made it through the first one, and really looking forward to hearing what people have to say. And here we are again.
I know. I'm so proud of us. We did it. What are we talking about today?
So today, Henry Ford, a quote from Henry Ford. Most of you, if not all of you, will be familiar with this quote, I think. And we just wanted to kind of lean into it for today's episode. So if you haven't guessed it already, the quote is this: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So what does that mean for today's discussion, Christine?
Man, it's this whole mindset. And I don't think everyone out there gives their mindset the weight that it really deserves. So if we're thinking negative thoughts all the time about our abilities, then we're not going to be really successful with whatever those thoughts are. But if we can put a positive spin and have positive thoughts, then we're going to achieve positive things.
Absolutely. And I think, we talked a little bit about this in the last episode. This idea of really speaking life into and outcomes into your actions and telling yourself that you can, right? Because if you tell yourself you can't do something, the outcome is obvious, right? We've all experienced it. You get into something that feels a little bit uncomfortable. You get pushed beyond what you think is your limit. And that little nagging voice in the back of your head creeps up and says, you can't do this. And then what do you do?
Right.
It's not that you can't do it. And it's not that you weren't able to persevere and overcome. But what happens when you hear that voice is you just simply stop trying. And so I think that's what Henry meant when he said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Tell yourself you can, and you will find a way to overcome. Tell yourself you can't, and you'll just quit.
Right. Absolutely. So if I tell myself, you know what, I failed, I'm embarrassed, what's that going to do to my mindset? But if I flip that and I say, wow, I'm proud of myself. I tried. That took courage. I was brave. How's that going to affect my mindset?
Huge.
I had no idea I'd one day be sitting here with you doing a podcast. I was nervous as all get up when we started talking about doing this.
We didn't even know each other until a year ago.
I know. We haven't even come up on, let's say, our 1 year friendiversary.
The friendiversary, that's right. No, that's true. I mean, this is a very new relationship, right? And really a new career for both of us. And we both had past careers, but absolutely. I mean, if you told me that I would be doing this, being a financial coach, hosting a podcast on my own, co-hosting a podcast with you, even a year or 2 years ago, I would have said you're crazy. Absolutely not. Like that's not in my plan, right? But now, here we are, and it's not because it's easy, and it's not because there's all this money coming to us and sponsorships and like there's just this no-brainer. We have to do this because we have to capitalize. Yes, we hope to be able to monetize and capitalize and make this sustainable. But there's a lot of work, a lot of effort that goes into it, and it would be so easy. So personal testimony here. Last night I didn't sleep at all. I haven't told you this yet, but I got up.
What's going on?
I don't know. I tossed and turned all night. I don't know if I was thinking about the podcast today. It's tax season. I don't know if maybe that was in my mind. I'm trying to get those taxes prepared and sent before we go on vacation, and so maybe there's a little bit of that nagging at me. And of course, there's always going to be something, but for whatever reason, I just did not sleep. Everybody was home. Sometimes I don't sleep well when people are, when my wife has to travel and stuff like that. I worry about her being out on the road and, safety and things of that nature, but everybody was home. We've all been home. There's no travel coming up. So I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I didn't sleep. And, so I tossed and turned until about 2. I got up, I made myself a cup of tea, decaf tea, so that it wasn't the tea.
Good call.
Yeah, and I drank a little bit of water, and I watched a little bit of TV, and I tried to go back to bed, and that was around 4:30, and then I got up. I don't think I slept between 4:30 and 6:30, but I got up at 6:30 as I normally do with my son to get him ready for school and got him off to school. And then it was time to get ready and start recording. So, I had lots of excuses not to do this today. And I could have told myself, I didn't get a good night's sleep. I'm not going to be able to focus. So, today's just not a good day. Let's postpone. Let's do this another time. But I didn't. I didn't use that as an excuse. I didn't even plan to talk about that today. But it just seems kind of relevant, given the topic. And yeah.
Sorry. So let me ask you a question, because I got to get this in here. So if you were to record your own podcast today, which you have your own show, would you have done it? Or did you show up today because you were accountable to me and our commitment that we've made to each other?
It's a great question. I hadn't really considered it. I will try to be as honest and genuine as possible and vulnerable and say that I probably would have just stayed in bed. I would have come home and I would have gotten right back in bed. Now, would I have gotten up and recorded my episode later? If I had the opportunity, the ability to be flexible and do that, unknown. I don't know. I probably not. I do think that the accountability is a strong incentive. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me putting you on the spot like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. And I like that because we talk about accountability, right? And the value of having an accountability partner in your life.
Right. So let me throw something else at you. We both talked about the first episode that we filmed of this, and we both, we were excited. We did it. We loved it. We congratulated each other. And then a week or two went by, and when we followed up to plan our next couple episodes, we were both like, we don't want to do that again. we don't want to look so scripted and so acting. And that's really not who we are, but here we are doing something new for the first time together.
Yeah.
And it didn't come out quite what we wanted, right? So we can get hard on ourselves and we could say, wow, that was really not the best content or the best that we can do. Or we could say we can learn from it.
Absolutely.
And we can switch that mindset and we could do better. And I think episode 2 will be better. And I think this episode 3 will be better, and so on and so forth. And like what you brought up before, hopefully we get a year out and we look back and we say, wow, we're doing so much better now. That was awful.
That was awful. But what were we thinking? Why would we ever have put that out in the public eye, in the public view, right?
Right.
No, I think you're right. And what you didn't say, and I think we kind of did automatically, we never said, well, that didn't go as planned, so maybe we just shouldn't do this. We both just kind of automatically, so I'm giving us both a virtual high five here. We both just kind of started critiquing the first experience, right? And we realized as we were running out of time and we were having a hard time recording and creating content, we wanted to get through a full episode 1, which was our episode 2, in the first session, and we just didn't get there. So we didn't meet that goal. We didn't meet that expectation. And it never even occurred to me to say, well, this just isn't going to work. What we did instead is we started some constructive criticism, right? We started saying, well, this went well, and this wasn't so natural, and this felt good, but this didn't feel good. And that kind of created some structure and some guidelines for us, and really some freedom to have a different kind of experience when we came back to start creating more content a couple weeks later.
Right. So our mindset is there. And maybe for a lot of our listeners, their mindset may be there too. Maybe they're like, yeah, I think I can, but maybe their money is holding them back.
Sure.
So maybe they have positive mindset. They have good habits already for the most part, but maybe it's just like, dang, I just am living paycheck to paycheck. I cannot stretch my money. So if the money is the thing that you really feel like is holding you back, what do you have to say about that, Donald?
Oh, don't let it hold you back. Money is a tool. Money is the vehicle. It really is the thing that has the highest. I call these high value targets, right? So I think our money, our income specifically, not just the money that we have, but our income vehicles, our revenue streams, are the things that have the single biggest impact, the single biggest value proposition when it comes to achieving our goals. It takes money to do these things, and not to put some kind of, arbitrary or inappropriate high value on money as this thing that we should, put up on a pedestal. I'm not saying that at all, but we do need it. We all need to spend money in order to survive in different ways. And we all have different levels that we need to achieve in order to maintain the lifestyles that we've created. Sometimes we need to identify those lifestyles as beyond our means, and we need to make adjustments. And that could mean a couple different things. It could mean reducing lifestyle, or it could mean increasing income, maybe for a season, or maybe finding a way to earn more income indefinitely because we just have higher aspirations. And I do believe that, goal-oriented focus does align very well. And I speak to this in financial fitness, but when you start thinking about your physical fitness, it's not an accident that people who are financially fit also tend to be more physically fit. And it has nothing to do with how much money they have. It's a mindset thing. They're more focused. They're more intentional. The way they behave, their behaviors associated with money, are similar to their behaviors associated with their physical fitness. What they eat, how often they exercise. All of these things are related, and they overlap in our daily lives.
So to carry that theme through, somebody who is physically fit may be sitting here, well, I know what to do. I know the calories I need to intake. I know the amount of movement I need to get in a day. I know what I need to do to be physically fit, but I don't know what I need to do to be financially fit. Show me the way and I'll do it.
Absolutely.
But I don't know what it is. And that was me. So back in 2017, when my husband and I started managing our money a different way, that's what I was searching for. I was like, man, I want to do better. We were just normal, right? We had credit cards. We had student loans that had been paid off. We had other personal loans that we had taken out in our lifetime. We had 2 car loans. So we were just normal. We had some money in savings, but not like a fully funded emergency fund, which is what I was always seeking and craving and going for, or trying to achieve for our family. And it's like, how do you do better when you don't know how to do better?
Absolutely.
So luckily, right, I came across a program that really shined a light on, this is how you do better. These are the steps. And going back to that time and thinking about everything that we've achieved since 2017.
Which is a lot.
It is a lot. Thank you for saying that. So not only did we pay off $23,000 in car loans, which was our only non-mortgage debt at the time, we fully funded a 6-month emergency fund. Then we set a long-term goal of, let's get our mortgage paid off. And 5 years, 2 months after beginning this journey, we paid off our mortgage. And then an unintended consequence of all of this, we had no idea this was not a goal. My husband now, instead of retiring at age 67, we have the means for him to be able to retire at age 58. That is awesome. A huge unintended consequence.
That's 9 years early.
And who knows if it'll happen, but it's a choice and it's an option that he can make when he gets to age 58.
I smell second career.
Yeah, I think some consulting maybe.
There you go.
Who knows? Who knows what will be in
You don't
his
have to
future.
stop producing, right?
And wait, let me put a time out there. It doesn't mean he's going to retire.
That's right.
He may be very happy and content and fulfilled in his job that he currently has and wants to stay longer.
And obviously he offers a high value to the company he's with as well. He's been there for a long time. It sounds like he's planning to retire there. So there may be an opportunity to just kind of make an adjustment, around that time if he chooses.
But the point being in all of that is we have given ourselves so many choices and options that the money piece is not a stress. It's not a burden. It's not a worry. It is a foundation that we have built because we learned how to manage our money differently than what we were doing. So we broke those bad habits and we created new healthy ones and a new healthy money mindset. So
let's talk about that. You said did you significantly, I'll say, so if you got normal raises, incentives, bonuses, things of that nature, did your income change drastically during that period?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Did you come into any kind of inheritance, or did you win the lottery?
No.
So there were no I'm trying to think of some other examples. Did you get an insurance claim that paid out in some kind of a settlement, right? So yeah,
No.
so I just wanted to. The only reason I'm asking, I think you know where I'm going, but for our listeners,
Absolutely.
I want to dispel the rumor and the myth that because we hear it all the time as coaches. I don't have enough money to budget. If I made more money, I would save more money. If I had enough money, I could be wealthy, right? If I had more, if I won the lottery, if I had this, if I had that, then I could do those things you're talking about. But what I'm hearing you say, Christine, from your own experience, and I have a very similar experience, although we haven't paid off the house yet, and I'm very jealous, but we're getting there.
By the way, listeners, I love that we paid it off first. I didn't even know, Donald, when we set that goal, but I just like that it gets under his skin a little bit. I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy that we. Well,
you know what? It's my own fault because I kind of pushed you a little bit to go ahead and take the leap. Yeah, so I should have let you sit on it for a while, tried to catch up, but I didn't.
You did. You see, you were that coach for me. You coached me and said, well, you're
just accountability. It was not a hard push. Like, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. You were not seeking out my guidance. I just kind of felt like if I was in your shoes, I think I know what I would do, you know?
Right.
And it was
we were there. Why were we holding ourselves back?
That's exactly what it was.
You brought it to light.
Yep. And coaches do that, right? We can see people's situations for what they are and not what they feel like. And I think that's a big difference. But yeah, I wanted to remove that barrier, that kind of excuse, really, that you need to make more money in order to budget. If I made more money, I can't afford to budget. This is the phrase that I hear a lot, and I'm sure, Christine, you've heard that before. But it's not true. It's not true. We just need to change our mindset. We need to change how we think about it. And again, it really fits nicely with this. If you think you can or you think you can't. So if you think what I'm hearing when I hear somebody say, if I made more money, I could budget, or I don't make enough money to budget, that's thinking you can't, right? What would happen if you just told yourself that you could do it? Because at the end of the day, you're still making all those payments. You're still making all those decisions. You're buying the things you're buying. Maybe you're utilizing debt products and loan products that you really have no business using. Maybe you're using those products responsibly. But you're still leveraging yourself beyond a reasonable limit threshold. And so what happens is we start to get behind and we start seeking sort of a path of least resistance. And that becomes sort of the self-fulfilling prophecy of going deeper and deeper and deeper into debt because now we can't see a way out.
Right. And for us and our family, every time we did, my husband, because I was a stay-at-home mom for 11 years. So every time he got a raise, well, we weren't saving anymore. Our expenses went up too. Our lifestyle went up too.
Absolutely.
Next year, next raise, lifestyle went up. So it was like we never were getting ahead until we made a shift and we made a change. The first change was that mindset. We can do better. And then we learned how to do better. We applied it. We were consistent. We were diligent. And we got better.
And fast forward 5 years, look at where you are now.
Man, I can't even, I really... we talked about before, did we know we were going to do this podcast? No. Did I know we were going to pay off our mortgage or 20-year mortgage in under 10 years? No. Did I know that ultimately my husband can have the choice to retire at retirement age or earlier? No. And that to me is the beauty part of it. We don't know what we don't know. And the things that we struggle with in our life, we're struggling because we don't know. So you can learn a better way to manage your money. You can learn healthy habits.
Absolutely.
And changing your mindset is the first way to get there.
And it really is important. And I don't want to beat this dead horse, and I don't want to make money, some kind of false idol here. But number one cause of divorce in America today, financial issues. Number one cause of suicide, ages 18 to 35, financial issues. This clearly is a problem, right? And this
number one cause of stress.
Cause of stress, absolutely, yeah. And stress obviously has ripple effects into everything that we do, right?
Everything, man.
So if you could
stressed
change,
at 2 a.m. last night.
I was, and maybe it was related to money. I don't think it was, but who knows? I don't. Every now and then, I just don't get a good night's sleep. But I think honestly, there was a force trying to get me not to do this today for whatever reason, and. But I'm not going to let that force take over, right? I make my decisions. And
I'm glad you showed up.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's a lot of fun. And obviously, this is something we wanted to do and we look forward to. So, absolutely. But yes, so if you were going to pick, I mean, what better thing, I'll say it this way, what better thing to focus on than the number one cause of suicide, stress, and divorce, right? If you could eliminate those three things by focusing on one thing, or even just reduce the overall impact, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. And so, that is where my passion lies. I want to help people change. I want to help individuals change. But really, another reason for the podcast, we talked about this in the intro piece, is that we can only talk to so many people. Christine, you can only see so many individuals or couples a year. Same with myself. And so if we can broadcast this message further, maybe it'll have a bigger impact. And we see money not as an obstacle and not as a stressor, but as a vehicle, as a tool. And if we can use it correctly, then we can exploit the full value of that tool.
Right. And we also don't see it as happiness.
Correct.
We don't see it as we will be happy if when.
No.
Not at all. We're content with the lives that we lead, and money is our vehicle.
And there's that word contentment again. I don't think we've used it in this episode, but contentment is going to be a recurring theme here. If you are constantly seeking things you don't have, where the mind focuses, the feet follow. If we're constantly focused on things we don't have, we will constantly find ourselves in positions we don't want to be in. Right. So this idea of contentment, it's important, and figuring out how to do it. Last time we talked about journaling. That's a great activity to kind of identify your values and understand how you feel about where you are in life and what is truly important and what is going to bring you. You said the word happiness, and happiness correlates very well to being content, right? And so where does happiness live? And that answer is going to be different for everybody, but it's never going to live in the money by itself. Money does not and never will buy happiness.
Never. So what I really want to do at this point in our conversation and in our show is give our viewers some hope and leave them with a quote, because we can tell you everything that we know to be true about getting better with your finances and your habits and your mindset, but you really have to do it on your own. So here's a quote by Theodore Roosevelt: "Believe you can, and you're halfway there."
Love that.
That's the first step. That is really the first step.
So Christine, you said that if I asked you 10 years ago, would you be on this financial journey? Would you be paying your house off early? The answer to that question, you didn't think that you would be. But let me change the question. Did you believe that you could?
Yes, I've always believed in myself. And I think it goes back to, I've always had a strong work ethic. I believe I can, so I will. I step outside of my comfort zone. Do I think negative thoughts? Do I judge myself, criticize, critique myself? Absolutely. Have I held myself back from fear? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I like to think I have more courage and more bravery and more belief in myself that, overall squashes the rest of that down.
Yep. So there you go. I mean, proof is in the pudding. So you believed that all these things were possible, and things that you believe are possible haven't come true yet, but some of them have, and even sooner than you would have expected. So I think there's something here. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. I like it.
Yes. And it makes me excited for, like, what else? What's next? What's a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What does that look like?
And not just for our own lives, but I mean, think about all the people that are going to challenge themselves today after watching this, and they're going to say, ooh, maybe I can, right? And that little shift just set in motion action steps that they didn't even know they were going to take.
Yeah. So let's give them an action step. We want to really help you to get to those next steps. So create a daily mantra that inspires you to believe in yourself. If you're not familiar with mantra, create a daily saying, something that you can repeat to yourself over and over that's positive, that really aligns your thinking with your values and what you want to achieve. So this mantra that I'm going to read to you does have a focus on finances, but pick a mantra that suits you. I have the power to create the success and build the wealth I deserve. You are deserving. I don't even know you out there who's listening to us, but I believe in you. I know you can do it if you put your mind to it. And I know you're going to fail along the way. You're going to stumble. The path is not going to be straight, but you can do it. You can push yourself outside your comfort zone. You can ultimately live the life that you want to live. The choice is yours.
You guys are going to hear us talk about failure a lot because it is a key component to success. Nobody succeeds without failing first, and not just failing once, but failing over and over and over again. And that ultimately is really how we win, right? We got to fail our way forward, and we've got to fail fast. We've got to learn, we've got to adjust, and we have to just keep going.
Yeah, it's a gift. At the end of the day, it's a gift. Nobody wants to fail. I don't want this show to fail. I don't want my business to fail. I don't want XYZ to fail. But if it does, in the end, it's a gift and we learn something from it.
So one other quick thing that we usually do in the show is a book recommendation. And so today's book recommendation, we'll leave in the show notes. And I neglected to write down the author. I apologize for that. But the title and the link and the author's name will all be below in the show notes. The title, though, is Think and Grow Rich. And it really aligns well with this idea of a daily mantra, speaking future truth, speaking confidence and encouragement into your own life. And it does a great job of breaking that down and taking you through a series of activities. You can read the book in a month, or you can space it out into a year and try to actually do what he's modeling out and describing in the book for 30 days before you read the next chapter. And so it's 12 chapters. It's kind of designed to take a year, but it's a very cool book. I'd almost recommend reading it all the way through first, and then going back, because you could read it, probably in a week. You could take that first chapter and apply it, in the first month. And it doesn't matter if you start in January or June or, when you start's irrelevant. Just apply the steps and you will see some positive value in your life.
Yeah, I love this recommendation. I haven't read the book, so it's been on my book list for a while. And
that's a good
hearing
one.
you speak about it, I'm going to move it up closer to the top.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right now, I'm reading 3 business books, so I really got to get through. I got to get through these 3 before I pick up another one.
Christine, you're smarter than I am. I can't read 3 books at the same time. If I do, I'll start mixing messages. I've got to get one done and then move on to the next one.
I used to be like that, but these 3 books are different enough, and they're all aligning with what I'm trying to achieve in my business that I'm able to do it. Cool. But that used to be my mindset too. So if you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right.
Okay.
I think you can read 3 books at a time, Donald.
Touche. You're right. I need to change that. You got me.
All right. Be well. I think we're good. I think we got another episode in the can.
Yep. This one's in the bag. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. Be well. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Off Limits.
Beyond the podcast, we are money coaches who want to help you.
So if you are looking for help managing your money, use the links in the description below to contact either of us and learn how coaching can help you thrive.
Lastly, please help us to spread the word by subscribing, leaving a comment, and sharing our podcast with your friends and family.